can hear off in the distance the prayers echoing across the ice. Figures start to emerge in the snow, and they're huddled together. One of the smaller Ramhedë children looks up from the herd and looks over at Cartwright, starts to get up, and says, "You're back!" and then gets pulled back into the pile. You see a crudely constructed but very sturdy, heavy tent. And standing in front of that tent is a massive figure, a Ursaka.
And as you approach, he steps forward and says, "Halt, who goes there?" Cartwright stops and says, "Drek, I have returned." And Drek says, "Oh, I didn't think I'd see you again."
When you get inside, the reprieve from the wind is so welcoming. It's so nice. What you do see in this very small tent that you all kind of cram into is this massive Ursaka polar bear standing 7.5 feet tall, towering over this very small, hunched over, incredibly old Ramhedë.
The large polar bear Ursaka, the Arctic Ursaka, seems to quickly stand up and put his hand on his what is clearly a very large great axe.
I'll probably put you down. And...
Yes, thank you, sir.
You came. I prayed so hard.
Are you Oliver?
Yes, I am the shepherd of this herd.
What did you pray for exactly? We're all very confused.
I prayed that the Stormborn would come. The Stormborn are brought by Thasia, by Bahatha, and by the Fates. There's something that each of you are looking for. Yeah. You may not know it yet. It seems the world is changing. It seems as if the ice itself cracks, as if the world is ending.
Oh.
And my people believe that life is a circle, and should we die, we will be reborn. But if the world ends, what would we be reborn into? We believe that violence is unnecessary, and we are willing to die for that belief. The Ursaka have other beliefs, and we respect those beliefs to a degree.
Does this feel okay to you?
None of this feels okay to Cristobal.
No!
None of this is okay.
This is a bad dream you're gonna wake up.
It feels weird, right? Yes! Her eyes shine.
Okay, Cristobal, I know this is really odd for you. All of it. Yes. But does something seem strange? Like they're not telling us something. It feels, I don't know if I trust it. Cristobal, do you trust it?
We can hear you. It's not a big tent. Also, we have very good hearing. Again, the flaps open and that cold air comes in again, and standing before you with her head bowed, blood dripping from her eye, is Cartwright.
Perhaps it is best if you rest.
Yeah, we're so tired.
You all seem like you've been through a lot.
Might Cartwright be allowed to sleep with us?
I'm afraid she must be banished. She has chosen her path.
Can she stay with us?
Be like roomies until she's banished.
If you are staying with the herd, she must stay outside of the herd.
Meeting you? has shown me that my fear is temporary. My ways are not his ways. And that is okay. But I do fear what the future holds. And she kind of looks outside the flap. I will look for signs of gnolls. I will see you in the morning. And she walks out the tent.
What do you want to do? Should we stay with these Ramhedë? Do we follow them to the dark woods?
Like it or not, out there we die alone.
I think tonight, we worry about tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow we worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now, your vibe is super different. You use so many rings? Tell me about your life.
My life? It is nothing like here. There are no animus. I have only read about you in books and scrolls.
Wait, there's none of us?
No, he is rare where I am from. Like I am sorry. I do not mean to be quite so unsettled. I am just very out of my element. The Osaka said he would tear my head off.
Oh, that's just a figure of speech. You're not around a lot of animus. When people say stuff like, I'll tear your heart out, I'll claw your eyes out, I'll gouge you with my talons, that doesn't mean anything.
Isn't this your first day on the surface?
I'm just talking about my house.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I feel really weird about it, you guys.
What do you feel?
I don't know. I mean, in my experience, it never really pays off to stay anywhere for very long.
And what is it that you were looking for before we were brought here?
Oh, I was going back home to find my family.
Did you misplace them?
No. I kind of fell asleep for a little while, and by sleep I meant I hit my head, and I just I don't remember where my family is. I was wandering around like the Feywild, and it's pretty funky there.
They start to make a lot more sense to you now that you know how much time KoKo has spent in the Feywild.
I do not know of anyone in all of my studies that has been to the Feywild and returned safely.
Well, then what about you, Val? What were you looking for?
At the moment that I was whisked away, I was looking, honestly, to be left alone. Not to go into too many details, my family is not in a good way, so I would like to make sure they're all right, and then I would probably just like to go off somewhere nice on a beach and have a drink.
And there is a famous Dragonborn family up in
My
Lunaris.
family name is Lunaris. My full name is Valcorio Lunaris.
That's a beautiful name.
There is a town called Lunarum, named after my family, named after my great ancestors.
I come from the Willowstep tribe.
You were looking for your sister, you said?
Yes, my twin sister Sansa.
As the first to flee the nest, I have a large responsibility placed on my shoulders. And, so my job is to find out as much as I can so I can bring it back.
Oh, you're gonna have some stories?
I have so many stories.
I have seen quite a bit of magic here. Magic that I did not know existed on the North Island. If there is magic like what I have seen, it is very possible there are spells or even magical artifacts that might help us to get back home. Get you all back to where you are from, to what you are seeking.
I am going to ask Adam and Morgan and Kari to please leave the room. We're going to have a secret room.
What?
With the mind
with
elders?
with the mind linkers. Saint. You go into a very deep, deep slumber. You're in darkness. You awaken. You're laying on cold, hard ground. Not ice, just rock. You are a giant.
This is who you are.
And in front of you is a lake. You remember this lake. It's the lake that you just walked past the edge of.
And you hear a from the distance, and swooping in another sparrow, no crown, lands on your shoulder, sitting ever so nicely.
From your vision, you are looking up and you see this very tall beautiful but striking blue-skinned woman. You've seen her before. You've seen her frozen in a block of ice. Your vision coalesces and an illusionary wall disappears in front of you. And as that illusionary wall disappears, you now see a dwarven stronghold in front of you. Shouting from behind you gets louder. You look over your shoulder and you see frost giants, huge, massive figures. You gesture forward and they charge, pouring through this wall like water. You continue walking forward and you see this tower. You see this long metal building, and you see a ring of dwarves circled around the base of the tower, chanting.
The sparrow begins to fly from your shoulder towards the tower.
Follow?
You look up at the sky, and there's 2 moons. You've only ever seen one. Now there's 2. They begin to circle and turn and twist and rotate, and each of them turn into crystal orbs.
What you have seen is the destruction of those ruins. And even you hear a similar voice that says, "Follow."
Val and Cristobal, you're still asleep. KoKo, you're just coming out of your trance when these two both snap up simultaneously.
Did you see everything that I saw?
Yes?
Were you guys dreaming together?
We have to go there, Saint. We have to follow.
Okay.
Yeah?
And this feels good to you guys?
No, everything feels so bad. Like, I have to stress how terrible this is.
I was told to follow, and that is something I am very good at, so I will continue to do so.
Uncle Dub Dub, he used to say that things work in cycles. Whatever's the end can be the beginning. Fond farewells often lead to gentle hellos, but war leads to conquest, leads to rebuilding, leads to society, leads to conflict, leads to war. This could be why we're here, KoKo. We're all brought together for something, and maybe it's to find the who's a what in the ice and stop the frost giantess from, killing everyone.
Olivar actually makes his way over to all of you.
I trust that you slept well.
When I was on top of the mountain, I saw some ruined stuff.
Yes, those are the dwarven ruins of Brudevik.
Do you know much about that place?
Yes, I know the history.
He seems to think that the astral dwarves are not necessarily of this world, and he uses the term astral dwarves deliberately.
They were brought here and they settled, and I'm afraid they did not get along with the frost giants. Those are the ruins of their settlement. Why your god would send you there is quite perplexing.
We have to go there. Like, it can't be a coincidence that we're here, and if we're getting something, maybe those ruins might be the key to understanding what's going on.
And if they were truly astral dwarves, as Olivar speaks, and they were inventors, there could be any number of technologies or magical items there that may assist us.
You find Cartwright.
When you find her, you can tell that she's just sort of slept underneath a cover of snow, and so she just sort of shakes it off. And
She is rested, though.
Yeah, it seems like it didn't really bother her that much.
I mend her clothes.
Oh.
Thank you.
It is a way of me saying thanks, and also to ask a favor. Will you please lead us to Brudevik?
She essentially says that it sounds like a mad plan, but you all seem very capable, and she sort of looks and indicates towards Saint that you've all been very kind to me. I would be more than glad to help you to Brudovic.
She leads you out across this ice, and you come up onto this long, thin metal building that's had the roof caved in or crushed in, frosted with ice. And you come right up to the front door of this building. It's a large wood and metal door with a bunch of gears and spindles and locks and levers on the outside of the door. Even though the ceiling itself has been caved in spots, the door is still very much solidly intact. The wind continues to blow, but you two recognize this building immediately from your vision as that big, long metal building that was reverberating with energy inside. And in fact, you feel a slight amount of reverberation across the ice. It crackles and crunches beneath your feet. And that will be the end of our show tonight.
Ooh.